Start, you may have noticed that we have no translation channels today. That's because we will not need them. Today we will be, I can say, lucky to have experts who not only speak English, but also have brought us a very fascinating project. We'll wait a few more minutes for everyone, or at least as possible as everyone, to catch up, because it was outward brilliant. So in the beginning of our next meeting, I have prepared again a little presentation for you. We would suggest that today, once again, we have a memory day to speak about what we did yesterday and what we are about to do now. I congratulate and thank everyone for the excellent teamwork that you have shown. Look at all those posts. This is a small fraction of all the posts on Instagram that I find my duty to reblog in the next few days as often as possible. Then one could also notice some cross-border, cross-country, cross-everything action. The participants were invited by their friends to join the origami flash mob. You look already at the results. And finally, I congratulate and thank everyone for the city reports about what was done in your cities on August 6th. And this again, I believe, is a small fraction of what we're about to hear today. And Oshita-san, today we'll have a discussion, but before this discussion, you mentioned that we will have special guests today.
Yes, yes.
Are they ready to speak and tell us something, please?
Okay. So, as Hiroshima members presented on the openings at the opening ceremony, to pass on the reality of the atomic bombing and the experiences of A-bomb survivors to future generations, the city of Hiroshima has been conducting various measures, such as training A-bomb legacy successors. Today, not only the city of Hiroshima, but also the company, I would like to introduce.
Okay, actually, I wanted to introduce them myself, but I just simply asked whether our Fujita Corporation guests were here today. But I'm sorry to interrupt, because yes, as Mr. Oshita is speaking, not only cities and civic society are passing on the memory of the past in many ways, and not only limiting themselves to peace ceremonies. To pass on the reality of the atomic bombing and the experience of A-bomb survivors to future generations, Fujita Corporation started a virtual reality project. We are now happy to give the floor to the company's representatives and hope that this introduction in particular will help our participants consider why people hold peace ceremonies. Please.
Okay, thank you very much. So today I'd like to introduce Ota Shin, Mr. Ota Shin. Are you here?
Hi, I'm Shin.
Thank you for joining today. So could you start the presentation about the VR project of Hiroshima?
Okay, so may I share my screen? So can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So may I start now? May I start?
Yes, we shall start.
Okay. So hello everyone. I'd like to thank you for giving me the chance to speak about our Hiroshima VR project today. I'm Shin. I work on Fujita Corporation as a researcher, and I'm responsible for this project. Today, I'd like to talk about the Peace Park Tour VR, which started just August 1st as part of the Hiroshima VR project. This project has been in the works for over 1 year, and the participants of IYCPF 2019 have been involved in the planning stages and have provided valuable feedback. Thank you. Here's the item for today's presentation. I will start with talking about project background, then project summary. Finally, I have prepared a trailer movie to show you what the VR looks like. So please watch it later. I would be glad to take any questions at the end of my presentation. Let's start with project background. As you already know, the number of ABOB survivor testimony is decreasing every year, and it is said that there are only a few ABOB survivor testimony who can speak English. It was with this sense of great urgency felt by Fujita Corporation's president Okumura that the idea of starting this project was born. We are a construction company. One of our company's achievements is the Hiroshima Red Cross Hospital and Atomic Bomb Survivors Hospital, which was located about 1.5 kilometers from the hypocenter, but withstood the intense blast. Therefore, as a company with the deep Hiroshima roots, Fujita Corporation was compelled to act upon in making such contribution to the community, so that the history of this tragic event does not fade away and it is understood by the generations to follow. Let's move on to project summary. This time, we have developed the PR system that allows you to go back in time to the past of Hiroshima. And we started the Peace Park Tour VR that allows you to experience the same place in the past, but in the present city of Hiroshima. This VR tour has 3 features. First, by introducing not only the tragedy of war, but also the reconstruction episodes of the city of Hiroshima. The film connects to the idea of one praying for peace to creating peace. Second, in some parts of the film, the experiences of the ABOB survivors are inserted as scenes that can be relived. Third, narration by the avatar character will be inserted to preserve the voice of the aging ABOB survivors. In the VR tour, you move to each point, stop, and put on the VR goggles. Then you can watch a 360-degree video. In the tour, you will be able to see the following videos. Point 1 and 2, the experiences of Mr. Eizo Nomura, who survived the atomic bombing at the rest house, will be conveyed in the form of reliving his experience from before to just after the bombing, from Mr. Nomura's perspective. Point 3, in the first half of the film, we will show the devastation of the city streets, which were turned into a sea of fire, with testimonies from ABOB survivors. In the second half, we will show the episodes of how people stood up and started to rebuilding despite the devastating damage. Point 4, we will tell the story of how people stood up and started to move forward in the midst of the chaos, and how the city of Hiroshima has been rebuilding while retaining the buildings that were exposed to the bomb. it is also a message of peace for the future, so that the same mistakes will not be repeated. So finally, please take a look at the short trailer movie. So Oshita-san, could you share my video from you?
Okay, Maria, can I share the video? It's not available right now. Maria, are you here? Okay. Can you see the videos? Okay.
The world's first atomic bomb exploded over Hiroshima at 8:15 a.m., August 6, 1945. That bomb, measuring just 3 meters long, instantly took thousands of lives, creating scenes of unimaginable pain and destruction throughout the city. That moment marked the beginning of hellish suffering. But Hiroshima survived, rising from the ashes to achieve an amazing recovery. Just a few days after the bombing, a few streetcars and buses were back in operation. 2 months later, schools reopened in partially remaining school buildings, or blue sky classrooms. The people worked hard to carry on, overcoming challenge after challenge, to prevent any repetition of Hiroshima's tragedy, to avoid making the same mistake. The symbolic stone coffin in the cenotaph for the atomic bomb victims is engraved with this message: "Let all the souls here rest in peace, for we shall not repeat the evil." We continue our journey to keep this vow, from praying for peace to building peace, until Hiroshima reaches children around the world and out to the distant future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Oshita-san. So, Dr. Inai-san, if you have any comments, could you add something?
All right, this is Inai. I really appreciate your participation, and to all of members participated today in this time. So Hiroshima cities, Hiroshima citizens continue to talk about the tragedy in Hiroshima city, and the young generation, we want continue to talk about this tragedy and to transmit to all over the world, especially to young generations, through their activities. So we want to achieve the world peace, including abolition of nuclear weapons. So when you have a chance to come to Hiroshima again, please the experience of this guided tour based on the technology of virtual reality. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Inai-san. So that's all from me. Thank you
Please
for listening.
ask any question that today's participants from. Any comments and any question? No? No, nothing. All right. Afterwards, I like to hope to your reaction to our Hiroshima's. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ota-san, for coming today. So from now, we are going to go to the next part of the conference, so you can leave.
Please.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed for your presentation today, which I believe was very helpful. Well, a brief explanation for my colleagues who are kindly helping me today. As you can see, one of my computers has crashed, and now I'm working from the PC. But this will in no way get in the way of our discussion. And our discussion today is relevant because first, I believe everyone is aching to hear about what our cities, our participants managed to organize for themselves or for their cities yesterday. I saw some city-related action organized in Hiroshima, of course, Volgograd. I saw some team-related action. So, could you please, for example, team, I promised to do it in random, team 4, peace and friendship, take the floor now and speak to us a bit about how they spent yesterday. Well, team 4, your leader is Ms. Diana Marita, Hiroshima. So I believe we can start with Hiroshima, it means.
Yes. Yesterday we attended the Peace Memorial Ceremony, where we prayed for the victims and those who suffered the atomic bomb and prayed for everlasting peace. And me and my group also folded paper cranes to show our respect and to remember the memory of those who perished.
And I hope that those who are on Instagram and have a chance to follow our groups had also an opportunity to see the photos from the ceremony, the videos from the ceremony, and the videos about the memorials in Hiroshima. Now, anybody else from Hiroshima willing maybe to show some photos to us as well?
Yeah, we made about 4 minutes presentation for today. So yeah, so I will show the presentation of the Hiroshima. Okay. So let me share the presentation now. Sorry, it takes a little bit time.
Okay. Hi everyone. We would like to talk about Peace Memorial Ceremony in Hiroshima. We will share what we did before the ceremony, in the ceremony, and after the ceremony.
Before the ceremony, we took 2 lectures. First lecture was by Kojo Shimizu, who is the victim of the A-bomb. I heard that even though they survived, they are still suffering from the after effects. And second lecture was by, could you go on the next slide? Well, the second lecture was by Takuo Takigawa, who is the director of Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum. He spoke about memory tradition. He gave us a detailed talks about the various materials we saw at the peace museums.
We visited the cenotaph of the A-bomb victims and we offered flowers. We did this to comfort the spirits of the atomic bomb victims and to pray for permanent peace in the world. Next slide, please. We offered flowers like this. Bow first, and then we stepped up to the cenotaph. Next, we laid the flowers. After that, we prayed and lastly bowed again.
Then let's move on to the ceremony part. This is the outline of the ceremony. We will explain a little about this. And because of the COVID-19, the seats were reduced by 90%. 751 people attended. We were really honored to be a part of this ceremony. Right before the ceremony starts, we saw the testimony videos by atomic bomb survivors. There were 2 displays in front of us so we could see the video.
A lot of people, such as the Japanese Prime Minister, dedicated flowers. We prayed for peace and for the victims for a minute at 8:15 a.m. This is the peace declaration by Mayor of Hiroshima.
After the declaration, doves as a symbol of peace were released to the sky. We had a video message by a Secretary of the United Nations. Oh, sorry. After the ceremony, we made a paper crane. All of us made a paper crane, and we took some photos before we leave the park.
The regulation was lifted after the ceremony and all the people were allowed to come into Peace Memorial Park. People waited in line to play in front of the cenotaph for the victims. All of us made a paper crane and we took some photos before we left the park. This is a picture of all of us with paper cranes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was always a pleasure to see how well things are organized. And I appreciate you finding the time to put on Instagram this paper crane folding experience. Now, would you please excuse me if I switch to my hometown, Volgograd, because we too had a pleasure to organize and hold a peace ceremony of our own. Volgograd team, are you ready to show and tell us something?
Yes, I guess so. Okay, let us 1 second to turn on the presentation.
Second. On the day of the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombing of the Chinese city of Hiroshima, a peace ceremony was held in Volgograd. The action took place in the Battle of Stalingrad Panorama Museum. Here it is. Honorary citizen of the cities of Volgograd and Hiroshima Yuri Starovatov and chairman of the Volgograd City Duma Vladlen Kolesnikov at 8:15, the time of the bombing, struck the peace bell 3 times. Here they are in the time of striking the bell. And here is a video about what they did. Participants honored the memory of the victims with a minute of silence, then laid flowers at the peace bell. You can see these that they put on the bell, and here are the participants who did it. Next participant.
This ceremony recalls the tragedy of Hiroshima, and it shows that the world community must do everything possible to prevent its recurrence. After official part of the ceremony, participants read poems and showed a presentation about bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were carried out on August 6th and 9th, 1945. They killed up to 166,000 residents of Hiroshima and up to 80,000 residents of Nagasaki. And here we have video. Right, Sasha?
Yes, here it is. This is a part of a presentation about the tragedy of the Hiroshima city that was prepared by Volgograd student Sergei Babenko. I guess the next participant shall speak right now.
Yes, the peace bell was presented in 1985 to Volgograd by the mayor of Hiroshima. The symbolic gift is kept in the Battle of Stalingrad Museum. The bell has the following words. The peace bell was presented to Volgograd from Hiroshima as a symbol of internal friendship and peace. On opposite side, here is the word peace in Japanese language and the name and the title of the master. On the both sides of the bell, here is the Hiroshima coat of arms. It is a free wavy lines symbolizing the free rivers flowing through the city. So next speaker.
The holding peace ceremony is an important event to remember the past and educate the different peoples in the world what the harms of war and hatred are, and to renew the call to live in a peaceful world of free of wars and grudges, and to prove that peoples of different countries call for peace, and the wars are the main punctures of few people. So thank you.
Also, I'd like to mention that after the ceremony, there was a brief photo session with all the participants of this event. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much for your report. I remember this ceremony quite well, and I keep forgetting to say, but actually our conference has a YouTube channel. At least I made a special YouTube channel for this. And usually a few days after our online meeting, you can see the report. So after this event, I will send you all links to it, because I will also put there a recording of our Peace Memorial Ceremony, which is this interactive part. And to the next speaker, I would like now to give the floor to our participant from Tehran, Iran. Firstly, because on our initial meeting, I failed to give him the opportunity to speak. And secondly, because he has prepared a very important presentation for us. So, Mohammad, if you are okay with your internet connection and ready to talk, please have the floor.
Yes, hi everyone. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will share my screen. Do you have my screen now?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Mohammad Mahdi Barati, and I'm very happy to have this opportunity to be here in IYCPF 2021. I'm from Tehran, the capital of Iran, and I want to present what my city does for peace. My presentation has 4 parts that you can see here. The first is about peace activities in Tehran, that divided to 2 parts, related and unrelated COVID-19 pandemic actions. The second one is Anniversary Peace World Day in Tehran. Peacekeeping group, that is the youth group of Tehran Peace Museum, and I'm the head of this group. And the actions that the Tehran Peace Museum is taking this year on the anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, that's some done yesterday and some in coming days. So I start from the first COVID-19 pandemic unrelated actions. The first one is strengthening Tehran's capacity to achieve a child-friendly, empowering, environmental, and animal-friendly city in line with the slogan, Tehran, a city for all. The second one is Smokeless Project. Smokeless is the English translation of the Persian name of the project. The original name is Bidud. From the beginning of this project, we can see scenes like this picture in public places all over the Tehran, that there are a group of orange bicycles that you can unlock each of them by the application on your phone and ride it. And when you don't want to ride anymore, you lock that bicycle by the app on your phone and leave the bicycle there. And there isn't any specific place in the city that you deliver bicycles to it. You just lock the bicycle by your phone and leave. Next, right there, find the bicycle, unlock it, and start to ride. The other one is establish counseling units in the neighborhood council to improve the mental health of individuals and create peace among family members. And installation of billboards on the subject of healthy communication methods, including good listening and conversation in the city of Tehran and urban transportation system. And reach to COVID-19 pandemic related peace actions. Donate food packages to poor families, delivery of health package and COVID-19 prevention information brochure to each house, lending to businesses affected by COVID-19 disease, forgiveness of rent money by some homeowners.
I believe what happened is that we temporarily lost Mohammed to the Iranese internet network. Yes, I see him, but I cannot see his microphone. So maybe in a few moments he can join us back. It's such a pity, really. Maybe in the meantime, we will address the honorary participants of IYCPF who are
the cities alone. Unfortunately, Christian is not currently here. Wait a minute, Clement, you're here, no? But maybe Nietzsche from Bangkok can tell us something about what she was doing.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. For Bangkok City, yesterday the Bangkok International Affairs Office sending Facebook messages for promoting the anniversary of atomic bomb in Hiroshima. And this is the last year. As you can see in the picture, we organizing the exhibition that tell the tragedy of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we teach the children to folding the paper can and also watching video, and also have volunteer staff to talk about the experience in IYCPF. But this year, we also plan to organize the same event, which is the exhibition, but we want to change to a local exhibition to elementary school, middle school, and central library in Bangkok. But because we have the second wave and third wave of COVID-19, so we have lockdown, and it's due to the government policy, we cannot organize anything, the local activity, so we got delayed and cannot be held. But we hope that the next year the situation will be better and we can organize the event as usual. So yesterday we will have some quoting about the memorial in the city of each city in my team member. And also we folding the paper can together and we will posting together later. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for telling not only about your city, but also about your team action. Now, can I take a look? Mohammed, are you back? Can we please ask you to continue? Not yet, I guess. Well, then there's a technical moment. Do you hear me better when I speak like that or when I speak like that? I cannot understand how my microphone is working. Okay. Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Then I get a message from the city of Chengdu. And can we probably just let me read it? Yes, this is absolutely relevant. So please, if you are ready to start, Shan-Wan, it will be our pleasure to hear about your visit to a museum.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I'll share my screen. Hi, everyone. This is the representative from Chengdu. And just now, we heard presentations from Hiroshima and Volgograd. We're very appreciated by their presentation and like the sufferings the ancestors have undergone in the past. Because we didn't have the Peace Memorial Ceremony at our city this year. So we chose to go to Chengdu Museum to like learn something about peace. And this museum is also celebrating the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of the People's Republic of China. So there are a lot of like activities in this museum yesterday. So now let's welcome the first speaker. Shiro, please.
For starters, succession is for meaningful and memorable pictures, and I want to introduce this one specifically. It intends to thank people on the front line as well as care workers and those carrying out essential roles who selflessly continue their day-to-day duties outside the home in support of us all. What they have done is honorable, and every hour of their hard work has brought us closer to a return to more normal time. It is because of this kind of hard work that they avoid the fight over the medical resources and ensures that everyone can get treatment. Besides, those of us who are staying at home, thereby helping to protect the vulnerable and sparing many families the pain already felt by those who have lost loved ones. In the end, we have tackled this disease because we remain united and resolute. The moments when the people of Chengdu have come together to applaud its care and essential workers will be remembered as an expression of the spirit of this city.
Okay, next part is about the protection of saving the endangered animals. The reasons why I think like this activity is essential and meaningful is that there is a growing evidence of the link between the wildlife conservancy and peace and security, like crime syndicates involved in illegal hunting and the trafficking of wildlife are also connected to illegal drug trade of other forms of trafficking. And these involve sophisticated supply chain using modern technology, as well as the bribes and corruptions to deliver goods to buyers. And we believe that in order for a country to continue their sustainable development, it is essential and necessary for them to pay attention to the protections, no matter to environment and the animals. And according to a survey released by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, more than 15,000 endangered species are on the brink of dying out. Compared with that of natural elimination, the speed of extinction has rocketed to 1,000 times faster. And we've actually come to an epoch which is entitled with a short-ring name, the sixth extinction. So we can see that these kids are performing like an elephant because there is an illegal trafficking of these animals. So I think this is a very meaningful and educational activity and is also closely connected to peace and sustainable development. Next speaker, please.
This picture shows, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this picture shows the shadow papers on display in Chengdu Museum, which gather nearly 300,000 fine shadow papers from 30 provinces and cities across the country, and forming a collection of shadow papers with the largest number, largest age, and the most complete types, and the best quality in the world. And among the many collections, there are a number of Chengdu shadow papers, which are extremely precious. And since the late Qing dynasty and the Republic of China, Chengdu shadow papers with a complex and exquisite structure and highly directed local characters such as Sichuan opera and Shu Embarity. And it has been collected by Winster and lost to European and American museums. And I want to introduce shadow play first. And shadow play is a kind of folk drama in which to help subalterns of characters made of animal skin or cardboard are used to perform stories. And during the performance, artists manipulated the flame makers behind the white curtain and told stories with local popular tunes. At the same time, they were accompaniment by precious instruments and string music, which had a strong local flavor. And in the museum, major historic events in China are displayed in the form of shadow play, and which has attracted many people's attention. And the purpose of using shadow play to show historic events is to make people remember history and deeply realize that peace is hard-won. Thank you.
We also show manuscripts of military officers and soldiers from Sichuan clique in the Second War. During the Second War, the Chengdu clique made a huge contribution to opposite the enemy. Data shows in the 3.26 million dead or injured soldiers, there are 2.24 million from Chengdu clique. Especially from 1939 to 1945, the death numbers of soldiers has 646,000 from Sichuan. In these manuscripts, some are compact files, some are letters which soldiers wrote to their families. All the words show people's desire for peace and the determination to defend it. Next, please.
Okay, this is a gallery in the museum that belonged to General Chen Yi. He was a member of the Communist Party of China, one of the 10 marshals of the People's Republic of China, the founder and the leader of the People's Liberation Army, and the strategist. He led famous battles such as Huangchao Campaign, the Menglianggu Campaign, and the Huaihai Campaign, and made outstanding contributions to the peaceful liberation of the People's Republic of China and the people of Chengdu. The pursuit of truth, the firm faith, loyalty to the country, the courage to sacrifice, mind steady, fearless. It was his admonition to himself, also known as the spirit of Chen Yi.
Hi. It is well known that this year marks the centennial of the founding of the Communist Party of China, so the museum has added a revolutionary section. In this exhibition era, we have learned the history of revolution and become more aware of the hard-won peace. Next speaker, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Jack. Now I'm going to introduce you to this guild called Hiroshima and Sichuan Friendly Guild. As all knows, every city almost have some statues and some buildings to build some friendship with each other and enhance the communication. So Sichuan, Chengdu is the capital city of Sichuan province. So our province built this guild to have a better communication with overseas countries. This is built for Hiroshima. We are both friend cities, so this guild always holds some exchange student program and some activities between China and Japan. And so this guild made a very deep contribution to the friendship between China and Japan.
Okay, that's all for our activities and the presentations. And we believe that it is essential for us to learn about our own history as well as other countries' history and to build this connection between different nations and across borders. And we believe that all those specific experiences will be interacted in a positive way and bring us to peaceful and friendly cooperation and communication. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the city of Chengdu. I believe this was the most relevant activity because of, as we said and will see in future, peace has many conditions and many aspects. So history, culture, protection of wild animals, intercity cooperation, they're all among them. So if there is no official peace ceremony, this is something that you can think of. And maybe St. Petersburg too. Girls, unfortunately, there are only 2 of you in your city's team so far. Arseny promised to join soon. Are you able and ready to tell us something? Did you manage to think of something for yesterday? Natalia, Ekaterina. Are you even here? Okay, St. Petersburg, can you hear me? Okay, next question. So, Mohammed, if you are back with us, could you please continue your presentation from where you stopped? Because you were just getting to the August 6th and with the smokeless vehicles. Anyone? Anyone? Hello? Okay, then. Not okay, then. Well, then, good news then is that another participant from St. Petersburg, Arseny, promised me to join Team 1 from about August 10. So please give him a warm welcome. Then if there are no other cities willing to speak, you hear me? Anybody willing to speak? So then I suggest it will be fine if we move a little bit on with our discussion, because our discussion will be relevant to what we've heard today. Let me turn back the presentation and pray that my computer feels free. Yes, sorry.
Good afternoon. Sorry.
I'm
Good day.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, Adrian.
Okay, hi everyone. This is Pauline from the Muntinlupa Youth Advocates for Peace. I belong in the Philippines, and I will be presenting what we did as an activity for yesterday's commemoration of the 76th anniversary of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing and campaign to end nuclear testing activities around the world to achieve lasting world peace. Now, due to stricter protocols here in the Philippines because of the global pandemic, we couldn't fulfill our desires to do a physical activity outside. So we thought it was best to do a webinar for the safety of everyone. So we did the webinar for yesterday's commemoration, and it was entitled Youth and Peace Building. Our attendees were fellow students and student leaders as well. We thought that through launching this webinar, we had the hopes that we will be able to raise awareness and promote peace education as well with the fellow students here in various schools in Muntinlupa City as well. Now, we did this webinar yesterday through Zoom meeting as well, around 9:00 a.m. Philippines time. And then we have here the program. So we started through formally singing the national anthem of the Philippines and providing a prayer for peace as well, and the singing of Muntinlupa March. And we had an opening remarks by our Teach Peace for Peace program director, Ms. Marielle Eugene L. Luna. And then we had a special message by our principal, Dr. Antonio B. Rocha, and we had one lecture through our master teacher, Mr. Bienvenido C. Tayuta. It was about the role of the youth in peace building, where we discussed about challenges and opportunities in launching peace education and the importance of it in building peace here, starting with the community first to achieve lasting peace, of course. And then we had a remembering the Hiroshima experience through our IYCPF 2019 City Representative, Ms. Jenny May Otesana. She discussed about her unforgettable experiences during this event through 2019. And then we also had a short film viewing about the Sadako Sasaki story and the 1,000 paper cranes. I believe some of us or most of us have already watched this film. So we thought it was also best to show this to our fellow students as well here in the Philippines so that they'd get more inspired and appreciate peace education more. And then of course, we also had the paper crane making, one of the special activities that symbolizes peace for us. That was headed by Miss Anthony's Margaret S. Lopez. And then after we've done the paper crane making, we had a little community singing, which I thought was a very refreshing activity. We sang Heal the World while holding the paper crane output. And we will show you a short video of that to summarize as well after I have done the program of activities. And then after that, we had our Pledge for Peace, which was headed by Mr. Adrian P. Lanopa. And then lastly, we sang the SDO hymn. Now I will have one of my adult supervisors, Mr. Mark Joseph C. Fernandez, to present the short video to summarize everything. Thank you, everyone.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you find there's no need to cry. In this place, you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. Yeah. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. To make a little space, to make a better place, and heal the world, and make it a better place, for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, if you care enough for the living, let's make a better place for you and for me. If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie. Love is strong, it only cares a joyful giving. And if we try, we shall see. In this place we cannot feel. We will dread, we stop existing and start living. Yeah. Love's enough for us growing, to make a better world. Oh, make a better place, heal the world, and make it a better place, for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, if you care enough for the living, let's make a better place for you and for me. Care enough for the living, to make a little space, to make a better place, and heal the world, and make it a better place, for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, if you care enough for the living, let's make a better place. Oh, make a better place for me, you and for me. Oh, 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 heal the world. Oh, 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 heal the world.
I believe that will be all for the Philippines. So I forgot to mention that we mentioned that code as well that you see at the end of the video, where we reminded our fellow students that darkness is not darkness, and to live a little space for peace to achieve world-lasting peace for the world. Well, that will be all. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for this presentation, for showing us also this beautiful video with the music. That was a real inspiration, I believe, for us. and for this meeting. And would it be okay then to continue for us? Then I would suggest that we now can move to our discussion questions and split into teams to have these discussions. So, today we have just two. That is, why do people hold peace ceremonies? And how can we use these days and the previous days' experience in planning a future peace flash mob in your teams? While visiting all of your session rooms, I will copy and paste these questions to the chat. And now I suggest that we go to these breakout rooms right now. And you will have 20 minutes. I would like to invite all our teams to speak about the results of their discussion and the decisions they have taken, if any. And as I promised at random, let us begin with Great Mates, Team 3. Please, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
And so we will answer the first question first. Why do people hold peace ceremonies? People around the world hold peace ceremonies to remember the bravery and courage of all the fallen soldiers and individuals that were killed during the war, and to understand the feelings of the war survivors who still suffer from its after effects even to this day, to make time praying, wishing, and hoping for everlasting peace and friendship across the globe. And lastly, to educate the children and the next generation to build a camaraderie instead of a competition, to build bridges instead of walls, and to build peace instead of war. For the second question, Jack.
I'm sorry, Anne, can you continue, please? For the next question you mentioned. I'm sorry, Team 3, are you ready to continue with the second question, please? Excuse me, Team 3, maybe not Ms. Lopez because she has her microphone turned off. Maybe Nietzsche or Ju.
Yeah, I think Jack will answer the second question, but I think there's something wrong with this internet, and I will try to paraphrase what Jack's what we just discussed. Like Jack said, we can like use the videos like to put them together. Each of the delegates from each city and like that they present in their presentation and introduce the places of spot, and then we can like put all those pieces together to create a video and to introduce something about peace and how it is presented overall, or what is like different places of how different cities can show their peace and friendly cooperation. So I think like this is what we just discussed. Yes.
Thank you. I believe this is one of the videos that have the potential to go viral in future, because I cannot admire the talent by which so many of you, our participants, resort to videos. Thank you, Team 3. Now, what about Team 5, Peace Education Movers? What did you talk about?
Well, our answer for first question was, well, to swear not to make a mistake again and not to forget about the tragedy. And yeah, and the answer for second question is, well, most of us made a paper crane for peace. So we thought that it was good idea for flash mob. That's all.
And also, and one of the discussion that we have in the number 2 question is that we will focus, if we will be having a flash mob, the best way that we can is to focus on social media, especially that we are from different countries, and empowering information and also disseminating information is the best way that we can. And the number 1 question also, let me add on that, is that we it also from other answers from different members is that ceremonies is really important to remember and also to give lessons for younger generations. That's all. Thank you.
I cannot agree more, and I'd like to add that as far as it goes with social media, you're particularly adept for using them to your advantage. And team 1, Catalysts for Peace. The floor is yours, please.
Hi. So for the answer to the first question, we thought that people have peace ceremonies because to increase awareness on peace and the history of war before, during, and after. And the second reason would be for people to connect. And this is what we all agreed on, that peace ceremonies are a great opportunity for people in the older generation and the young generation to connect, as well as the future generations of the future generations and the generations now to connect as well, because these peace ceremonies are going to be continued on as a tradition, and that's how people can connect. In answer to the second question, we all agreed that sorry, I don't know how to put this in words. It's an important aspect for people to have connections in actually planning the flash mob itself. For example, if we were to do like a video and post it on social media, that's going to end there, and people who watch it will be able to understand and learn, but it's not going to get any further from that. But if we do something like a challenge or ask people to post pictures of messages, for example, then it's going to be something that we start, and it's going to keep spreading and spreading and spreading all the way around the world. And that's what we want in the flash mob, is for people to have connections and for the flash mob itself to keep spreading. Thank you. That's all.
Maria, microphone is up.
Sorry. I wanted to say thank you, and that indeed increasing the outreach is a difficult but important task, and I wish you all of luck and success with it. What about Team 4, Peace and Friendship, please? Can you reflect on your discussions for us too?
Yes. For the first question, why do people hold peace ceremonies? I think the majority of us have agreed that people hold peace ceremonies to commemorate important events from the past, which we want to pay tribute to and make sure for it to leave a legacy in our hearts, not in a way that we condone violence and the injustices that have happened, but to make a move in ensuring we make this world a better place for everyone. And also, peace ceremonies helps us express our thoughts and feelings and remember those cruel days, and to commemorate those people who risked their lives and those who perished. These kinds of ceremonies are also held to pass on the event to young generation so that it won't be forgotten. And for the second question, how can we use this day's experience in making the final flash mob? We thought that instead of just posting a picture and then accomplish, instead of doing that, we from the previous group, Catalyst for Peace, we must continuously spread the message of peace to everyone. And by our own experiences, we can conduct flash mobs to convey our the message of peace. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Peace and Friendship, for your discussion and for the thoughts with which I wish you all the luck and success and power to incorporate them. And last but not the least, Team 2, Piece of Peace. The microphone is yours.
Thank you. I will share about the first question. And in the first question, we have 3 answers. First is console the victims, and second is to remember about the tragedy, and third is to gather attention. People hold a peace and memorial ceremony to console the victims of the atomic bombs and to pray for the realization of lasting world peace. And also it's kind of important tradition for young generation. It can help us to remember about our roots and save peace in the future. And finally, I realized when I participate in the Peace Memorial Ceremony in Hiroshima, a lot of people like President, Prime Minister of Japan and the mayor of our city gathered and do one ceremony. So I thought it's really good way to gather attention and to remember the world peace for the world. And the next question, Dario will speak about that.
Yeah. I guess it's nice and at the same time effort because we have the same idea as our colleagues. We with members decided that it should be a good reason to make a peace flash mob of making like origami cranes. Like we have the same idea and we think it's easy way to spend our time effectively. Like it's easy to do, it's easy to take a photo, it's easy to post. And I suggest like to make a hashtag for this and put this hashtag to each our posts. And I saw that a lot of members of team had these cranes on their post, especially as I saw the video of how to make these things, and I think it's nice. And we should just try this, and also some more details that we discussed with members, we can post it both on team and personal accounts. I think it will make our flash mob viral. And I think that's all.
Thank you. Well, first of all, as always, thank you for the structured conclusion. And as for the simplicity of your idea, I think the simple things are sometimes the ones who work best. So
yeah.
Wish you luck with it.
I think everybody can do this, and it's like the good idea to do this, and it's too easy for us.
Good. You've had some practice. So, well, judging by our discussions, at least all of you have something like an idea already about what your final flash mob is going to be. Well, which is good, because the next 2 experts we're about to see on our program, on our conference, will be dealing with not what to do, but how to do flash mobs, activities, projects in a nice, concise, and well-organized manner. So we'll be looking forward to meeting them. The first one on Monday. And since we've had such an excellent work, I believe it will be only fair to have no homework for Sunday, so that we can get fresh healthy and good and well rested. However, I have a suggestion for you now, and let us try to turn to this suggestion with a PowerPoint screen. So, initially it was written in our preliminary program that we invite you to draw or buy a postcard during this Sunday. So, but let me start with why and what this postcard will be for. Who has heard of a Secret Santa game or even played it with their friends? Well, it's a secret gift exchanging tradition, right? And is anybody registered on the website called postcrossing.com? Well, I was, at least. So what we suggest is that we ourselves hold a Secret Santa post-crossing event in the end of our conference. Since we have no opportunity to get souvenirs, we can at least get memories, and memories in written form. So what would you say to a secret postcard exchange? Everybody can participate from any country and any city. If you want to join it, I will have to ask you for a little bit more of a personal information, which I assure will be only used for the post-exchange purposes. So by August 20, decide please whether you would like to exchange postcards with IYCPF participants. Send me your address. We'll do the random mixing up and give each of you a participant's name to write to. Send this person a postcard and receive a postcard as well from somebody else. If we do this deadline, like joining before August 20 and sending a postcard between September 15, then maybe already by October everybody will have this little memorabilia from IYCPF 2021. We can do it either in teams, like if you would like to exchange postcards among the members of your own team, whom you will know much better by the end of our event, or we can go with worldwide and not limit ourselves to the teams. So this is the general idea. And if you support it, then I will gladly support it too. At that, if you would like to speak with some comments, please, you are welcome, because this is the very last point in our program for today. If there are no questions or comments, you still can send them to me by email, of course. Then I wish you all an excellent continuation of this weekend. Have a good weekend. And I will send you the link for our new meeting this day. And our new meeting will be on Monday at the same time. Hope that you will be present. Thank you for your excellent work. And goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.